Welcome to the end of season live stream for the Andromeda Madness tournament and the consolation bracket. I'm your host Union, and with me is a lot of other people who have been in the tournament. So here we go, guys. This is the wrap up for the season. How's everyone feeling?
Pretty excellent.
All right. Well, we're gonna go through everything here. We'll get these game recaps started.
The lieutenant says this is not showing up on YouTube yet.
Not yet? Well, we will hold up just a second then until he sees it. It's probably just catching up because it has to go through YouTube.
It's there now.
It's there now? Alright, so we are official then. We are broadcasting live.
Patience, my child.
So the first thing, we're going to go through all the matches, and we're going to talk about them. It's going to be great. Starting with the main tournament for 2022. First match we're going to talk about, preliminary round. 16th seed and 17th seed. We had Buck versus Apex. Apex did win that 31-4 to 21-5, a 9.9 thousand point margin of victory. Any thoughts about that game?
I mean,
he did well.
Yeah.
He came much farther than he had last year.
Yeah.
But I was watching that video and I knew Buck wouldn't be able to move forward with. Wasn't he using an Avenger as well?
He was using the Avenger.
So yeah, so it's kind of like what kind of advantage he would have had against Apex Trainee with the character he had. So that's why I was like, ooh, I don't know if that was a wise choice in character. So
yeah, like I say, he's also experienced in the tournament. He's been in here a couple times. Linguist, do you have any thoughts on it?
On the match? Well, I don't think Buck really had much of a chance with it, because the only thing you can do with somebody that throws grenades is take out all the spawns. But yeah, you can't match the singularity and the shockwave combos, especially when they're set up to pull in assist points like that.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's just too much working against the Avenger at that point. Alright, there is a guy, I believe, asking for the link to the live stream as well. You got him?
I got it.
Alright. But anybody else on the preliminary round game? Any other thoughts? It's on my channel. It's the same as my username here. And I see USA in the side chat here. The Avenger can rack up points if you know exactly what you're doing with him. I think Buck at the time, he was still a little bit new, especially with the Avenger, and he did not know exactly how to do it. So USA does make a good point about it.
And yeah, when I was thinking about that, maybe he was using the character as like trying to level up the character for his bonus stats. So I don't know if that was a wise thing to do on a tournament, maybe on his free time. But I don't know if that was the case. Then
Yeah, but like I say, it was still a good match to get the tournament started. And then after that, that was our only preliminary round. So then we moved into the official first round. We're just going to go in order here. So it would be the 1 versus 17 seed here then for the first round. That's USA versus Apex. So talking about Apex again here, he lost that game to the number 1 seed USA, 38-7 to 28-9, but it was still a good fight. It's a 9.8 thousand margin of victory for USA. So any thoughts about that game? Who wants to go first here?
I'm in the process of turning off the game, man, so I can concentrate.
USA said that was a fun fight. He is watching live. I know he had a fun time. That was the second year in a row we got to take him on.
Oh, is that the Apex versus USA fight?
The Apex versus, yeah, Apex versus USA, the 1 versus 17 seed. The first game here, the first round.
It was bittersweet. He did good, but he lost again. He's in the background saying it was so close.
It was a close game. And hello, Zom. Welcome to the live stream. The end of your live stream, or end of season live stream for the Andromeda Madness tournament.
Hi, John.
Adding some comedic relief to it. Well, we were just talking about the USA versus Apex fight. You have any input there, Zom?
No.
I don't think he's seen it.
Haven't seen it. Oh, that's okay then. Any other thoughts on that one? Alright.
Just that he's going to be ready for you next year, USA.
I know USA's listening. We'll see. It'll be fun.
I know,
so
it's safe to smack talk right now.
So moving on from that one, though, we have the 2 versus 15th seed. That was Jeff versus Hitman, and we all know how that one went. It was closer at the beginning. It was.
Was it?
It was. It was closer at the beginning, at least from what I thought it was going to happen. Anybody else got some thoughts on that one?
I didn't see it. Did Hitman fall asleep in the middle of the tournament?
Ooh.
Ooh,
But no, but he even admitted it later. He didn't prepare the way he should have for it. He performed much better in the consolation bracket than he did in the main bracket.
Ah.
No, he
He
did.
just wasn't ready for it. And Jeff plays the adept all the time, so he's always on his A game with that.
Hitman still did a great job, though, versus Jeff in that first round. I'll give him credit. He's been a part of the tournament every single year as well, so he is an experienced player.
Yeah, for me, I wasn't a fan of the map because it was Icebreaker, so I still wasn't like we're gonna rest on my laurels and like, oh, this is a piece of cake. To me, it was like anything could still happen, so that's why, especially with that map, because I'm just not a fan of that map. So it's just
That might come up later, Icebreaker.
Especially like for the first time, it was Remnant, right?
I can't remember. Was it Remnant, guys?
I think it was. I'm not sure if it was.
Let me see here. I think I have it. Well, I can look on my notes. Let me go down here. First round. I gotta see. Here it says Icebreaker Cat. It looks like.
I think it was Cat. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, Icebreaker Cat.
Yeah, but yeah. So with just that map, I just don't like that map for some reason. So I knew I was just like, okay, just keep your feelings aside with this map and just do what you can. So that's why it just. Well, anything could have happened.
Remember, later in this live stream, we will be voting on maps for next year. So if you don't want to see Icebreaker again, then don't vote for it. So we'll get to it. You weren't here this year, Bill. Last year, you think you were, but we'll get to it. But also, that margin of victory was by 13.3 thousand as well. I'm not sure if I said that.
Right when you guys asked me to do the tournament, I was actually just starting a new job.
Okay, now I understand. Got priorities straight.
Yeah, so next time I'll probably definitely do it.
Oh, and Hitman comes in at the right time. We're just talking about your game, Hitman, in the live stream.
Gentlemen, and people, good afternoon, evening, whatever it is.
What's up, man?
Hey, Hitman.
Also, Hitman, we might have to check your voice settings, because I think in the past you have yours set to where we can't hear you on these videos.
On the videos?
Correct.
We're being live streamed right now.
Yeah, we're live streaming. Right now.
Yeah. Live streaming what?
The end of season Andromeda Madness tournament recap.
Oh, okay. So you say you need me to do what now? Check my settings?
Yeah, and we could see your face. I'm just kidding.
The lieutenant
No,
can hear Hitman, so
he can. All right, I'm glad he's watching there. So Hitman, never mind. You are good. You are good. But we were just talking about your game versus Jeff. Any thoughts on that match, Hitman?
It's like a recap.
Yeah, it was a mercy game.
Mercy.
He took mercy and pity on me only because of my because of my status. So I mean, I appreciate it. It didn't make me lose face of anything like that. You know, that's my buddy. So I gotta say big ups to him. You know, he let me down with grace.
Well, I mean, you did well trying to stay with them there. So you've been in the
That was,
tournament a decent amount. You know what you're doing.
but I'm out of practice. That's like Floyd Money Mayweather nowadays going up against Mike Tyson. Even nowadays, it's just not a match. You know, it's just not a match.
Boxing reference, okay. You lost me.
Oh, I lost you on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would win? I wouldn't care how old Tyson is. One hit on his arm is going to make Money Mayweather buckle to his knees. So,
Well, I tell you what, we can debate that probably a little bit later, but let's go ahead and move on to the next game here. We have the 3-seed Darkseid versus the 14th seed Taeyun. Darkseid won that game with a whopping score of 41-3 to 21-7, a 19.6 thousand point margin of victory. So any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, so this is Taeyun, and I didn't do any prep, but I had a little experience kind of flying around the map as a Krogan Vanguard, and I was thinking, since we can't use any siphon weapons, Krogan has rage, so I could get some health back that way, and plus with charge, I could have, my shields going. But that strategy didn't really work out in the later waves. So I think I did pretty well, but I still didn't kill stuff as fast as my opponent.
Well, the same thing happened in our first Andromeda Madness tournament when it was still called the August Madness tournament. I believe it was Cuban that brought the Krogan Vanguard, and he kind of experienced the same thing when he faced his opponent.
So if you pay attention to the previous matches, you can do better than I did. But that's okay. My attitude is it takes a loser to have there's no winner without a loser, right? So I can provide that for somebody. So I did.
And he's definitely a harder character to play in the tournament. Any other thoughts on this game?
That was fun.
I mean, I think the score was not a good representation of what actually happened. The big takeaway was, and I think Wave 6 we had targets, and you got target focused on the behemoth, and that just left me to, wipe the rest of the field. And I think I just took wave after wave, and that's really where the score got separated. Until then, it was pretty close.
Okay. I thought I was behind the whole time, though.
Not by that huge margin.
I think the larger margin happened at the end.
Yeah.
Got it.
But it was a good, I'm hoping like everybody who played this year is going to play next year too. So in that respect, it's a good match to prep you for next year, because you can go two ways. You can have a character who maybe doesn't kill as quickly but assist points off of everything, or you can have a character that can kill all the enemies quickly, so you can go to one of two ways. And the Krogan Vanguard is kind of weak on both of those, so that'll help you pick a better class to be better prepared for the next match.
Yep.
Well said. Well said. Anybody else have any thoughts on this match here? Well, Taco, if you want to be in next year's tournament, maybe you could get him into the championship round or so. All right. Well, moving on from that one, we have the 4-seed Dragon versus the 13-seed Cinder. Dragon won that one, 32-2 to 20,700, difference of 11.5. So pretty decent margin of victory there. Anybody have any opinions on that one?
There were no shenanigans.
There were none. There were none. Dragon, you want to say anything?
So what happened?
We're talking about the Dragon versus Cinder match where we didn't get any of Dragon's usual antics.
Yeah, there wasn't anything.
Yeah, Dragon. What have you got to say for yourself, young man?
I'll try and battle next year to mess up matches.
Well, we're going to be voting on a specific rule later, so... Always comes back to
Dragon's
me.
done it. Dragon's done it.
Has he killed me?
Didn't he kill all of you, but you guys got up and still extracted?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, in that match,
The Silencio.
completely forgot. Completely forgot about that. Anything else on that one? Alright, let's go ahead and move on. So the next one's nothing much to talk about. We were supposed to have the 5-seed Short versus the 12-seed Cleveland, but of course Short pulled out of the tournament, so we did not have that game, and Cleveland got the bye. So, moving on to the one after that, we have the 6-seed Jays versus the 11-seed Megaton. The outcome of that game was a 34,400, 31,200 win for Megaton, and that was a difference of 3.2 thousand points. So a pretty close one there.
Yeah, it's been a while since I watched that match, but I remember it being pretty consistent for both of them throughout.
Yeah, I don't think there were any big lead changes or anything like that, just consistent play from both contestants. So there's really not too much to analyze on that one.
Yeah,
so moving on.
Neither of them are on the chat to ask how they
Yeah,
feel.
exactly. So anybody else have anything to say about that? So with that, we'll go ahead and move on to the... What was that?
I'm tight-lipped. I haven't seen the matches. I'm trying to load them now, but they don't want to come up.
No, okay.
So I'm tight-lipped.
Well, moving on, we have the 7th seed Darkside versus the 10th seed Infinite. Dark Star. I knew I'd make that mistake at some point. I made it during the live stream. That's all right though. 7th seed Dark Star versus the 10th seed Infinite, and Dark Star did win that one. 34-9 to 28-5, difference of 6.4 thousand. It was a good match, good showing by both of the contestants.
Yeah, that was the start of the this year's big shocking character was the kineticist, right? Because I wasn't expecting Darkstar to really perform that well because of who he was picking, and because I didn't think he was that competitive. But yeah,
my future nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there in the next round we'll be talking about. But no, good matches early on definitely set the tone for Darkstar moving forward. And definitely gave me something to think about whenever they eventually met up later trying to cast that game. Whew, a little rough. We got through it. But anything else on that one? Alright, so we'll go ahead and move on to the 8 and 9 seed. Of course, we had the 8 seed Linguist and the 9 seed Will. Linguist, you won that one, 36-4 to 27-1, and 9.3 thousand margin of victory. Pretty decent one there.
Yeah, I've been practicing a lot, so I have my A game.
You definitely brought it, and you wiped up the competition. I mean, Will, I believe, has been in the tournament every single year.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely got him on that occurrence.
Both run the same character on that too? Weren't we both running Jugs? If I remember.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Let me click the video.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look there before we move on. Anyone else in the meantime have anything to say about that one?
Will I've always known as a defensive player. I mean, well, he's not as aggressive, is he?
Yeah,
I mean,
not as competitive.
Yeah, I mean he's a good player, but yeah, he does very well in a team. So he's very more like a very defensive, not aggressive. So
supporting role.
And that was a
role.
Jug versus Jug match, by the way.
Jug v Jug, okay. Yeah, but he can keep himself alive, and usually he's pretty good at positioning, so he can get spawns. And he has won games before the tournament.
He has a lot of experience with the game in general. So I wasn't discounting him, but I don't know him to be an overly competitive player and like a point whore. So.
Yeah.
This is probably a good transition to start talking about the different types of builds, and not all Jugs are made the same.
This is true. If I remember right, that was when I figured out that I can make it through an entire match without Fortify on, so I was moving pretty quickly, and he was still running Fortify, and I think he had points in it. So he was sacrificing some form of assist bumps to do that.
That probably cost him a decent amount of points at the end of the match.
Yeah, exactly.
But he did win it by a decent margin, though. Could have been tighter. But alright, anything else on that one?
Oh, against Dragon.
That would be a good one, because Dragon plays a mean soldier as well.
Yeah, the soldier isn't very good, though.
Put them both against Outlaw and just see how many times everybody dies.
We'll get there. Alright, well that's the first round discussed here. Moving on to the second round, we had the 1 seed USA versus the 8 seed Linguist. USA did win that 34-4 to 33-1, a difference of 1.3 thousand points, so pretty close. Any thoughts on that match?
Yeah, it hurt really bad.
You gotta remember, though, you lost to, at that point, the 3-time defending champion.
Oh, no, I know, but I prepared. Like, I prepared so much.
Yeah, he had no idea.
And
He
poor
cried himself to
Darkside
sleep.
had no life outside of the game, because all he was doing was helping me prepare over and over and over.
Yeah, and then you change your strategy at the last minute because of Dragon.
It worked, I just did it too much.
So, yeah, in tournament fight, it's different than just normal fight. You have to know where the spawns are at. So we had worked up a strategy at an initial start point, and then what spawns to go for. And at the last minute,
Right.
we changed it, and that makes it.
But
huge
because I started watching the USA's videos on Zero, studying my opponent, and I watched where he always went first, and if my initial spawn didn't pop up, I would have to try and beat him to his spawn, but he was going to get there first because he was closer.
Because your plan was to
Right.
shockwave through the wall and nest assist points in that back spawn where we normally camp, and then charge the other wing, which sounds good unless your competitor is up in the high hack and going for those secondary spawns.
Well, that
He's gonna
I was
throw off
banking
the
on
same
because
aggro.
in all of his matches on Zero, he had gone for that small room off of LZ,
Yeah.
and I was hoping that would be his pattern. But as soon as I messed with the point over there, he adapted and did something else. And so when that happened, I should have gone back to my first strategy and then just maybe alternated between them to throw him off this game.
And he was using the operator too, which was not a character you know how to fight against.
The bane of my existence, right there. And that was the tipping point, because when I watched the match again, like I was actually ahead early on, and then we had, I think it was an upload or a hack, I forget, and I jumped in with him to try and get objective points, and ended up helping him because I was close enough to give him assist points from his shield boost. And since all the enemies were coming together, his invasion was spreading to everything too. So it ended up just being a big bonus for him. And so that was a very big learning experience. Stay away from the operator because they're evil.
Like I say, you were going up against one of the most experienced players in this game as well, so that had another thing to do with it. But yeah, it was a very good match though overall. Very entertaining to watch. Any other thoughts on that?
It was better on the rewatch than it was during.
Well, during, I mean, you're focused on exactly what you're doing. When you're watching it again, you can see what your opponent's doing as well.
Yeah, during I'm just focused on crying, and afterwards, see what happened.
Yeah, anything else on that?
That's it.
Well, we go from that one to probably our most exciting match of the year. 2 seed Jeff versus 7 seed Darkstar. A 9-point margin of victory. 32-466 to 32-457. I'm sure you guys have a lot to say on this one.
9 fucking points.
I think that was a bigger shock than Darkstar's initial win, because for that same reason, we just didn't know the Kineticist could perform like that. And I was really expecting Jeff to kind of run away with it, because he knows the adept so well, because he's played in the tournaments before, he knows what strategies to use. So yeah, it was a big shocker. It was definitely a good match to watch.
It was, and it was a fun game to broadcast as well when I was doing a little bit of shoutcasting. I mean, you didn't know who was going to take that till that very end when you saw the final screen.
One assist bump.
Yeah, pretty much one assist score away. I decided that one.
Didn't the video get banned because you were shouting?
Yes, the video initially, well, it didn't get banned. The video initially got age restricted to 18 plus, and I believe it was due to the excessive yelling at the end. I did a manual appeal, and they did accept it, and I was able to put the video up as normal. But it was due to just the volume of the video. But it's fine now. But it was a fantastic game. I would say it's probably one of our best we've done of all time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's a great game. Anybody else got thoughts on that one? Pretty much.
Yeah, watching the playback on that, it still kind of makes me like, it still kind of makes me nervous and like on the edge of my seat. Even though it's like the match is done, it's like I'm watching that. It's like holy shit! It's like this is, it's like this is the POV of the host. It's like, yeah, it's different, but it's still kind of exciting to watch even after the match.
It was a great match. It really was. So moving on from that one, we go to our 3 seed Darkside versus our 11 seed, I believe, Megaton. Yep. And Darkside did win that one, 36-5 to 27-7, an 8.8 thousand point margin of victory. So pretty good victory. That's our largest margin of victory in the second round. So thoughts on that one?
What was that? Was that the Magma one?
Let me check. Zero Outlaw. Yeah, Zero Outlaw.
So yeah, I was using the Vanguard.
That's expected too. From the amount of practice we did, like we were ready.
Yeah,
Megaton got the brunt of that.
That score is 100% nothing to do with skill. It's about practice and preparation for playing. That's all it is.
Yeah, it was a well-fought game, but I would say Darkside, you had control of it, I believe, pretty much the whole time.
Well, I don't remember his character choice, but I don't think it was one that was known for high points.
Yes, I can't remember off the top of my head. If anybody has his videos pulled up.
I think he ran the jug, but I will pull it up right now.
Yeah, if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, I think he ran a jug, but I was pretty sure he was running a fortified version and not a shockwave version. And if you don't go to that 6th rank of shockwave that primes, then you're missing out on an absurd amount of assist points from the Juggernaut.
I see a jug.
Alright, so he ran the jug.
That takes it from being the difference between that shockwave is a top scoring character every time.
Yeah, but it was still a fun match.
The shockwave is more important than the snap freeze, if I remember right, because snap freeze will give you assist points even at level 1, but the shockwave doesn't give you anything.
That tight area just plays the Vanguard's ability.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that one? Alright, so we will move on. So our last game here in our second round. 4 seed versus 12 seed. 4 seed was Dragon. 12 seed was Cleveland. We know how that one went. It was a 500 point margin of victory, 35-7 to 35-2 for Cleveland. So Cleveland upset the 4 seed. So thoughts on that one?
What was the score on that one more time?
The score was 35-7 to 35-2, a 500 point margin of victory.
Yeah. And
it was our second closest.
Almost at the buzzer, like right near LZ, just at the end?
I believe so. Dragon, you have anything to say about that one?
Not really.
I think it was all for the drama. That's what it was. It was all for the drama and a bad flip of the coin at the end.
But it was still a really great match to watch. So that takes us to the semifinals then. first one here, the 1 seed USA versus the 12 seed Cleveland. And Cleveland took down the number 1 seed by a 1,000-point margin of victory, 35-4 to 34-4.
That was a face crack of the century.
So Jeff, any more to say about that?
I'm kind of surprised that one didn't get banned for a day too, because you were real excited in that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I was as loud as I was at the end of the other one there.
I mean, his first year on a tournament, he comes in, gets a bye, and then he beats the third-time champion.
Yeah, beats Dragon, beats USA, both contenders for being in the finals, if not taking the whole thing.
And he
was a big surprise.
Way to the top.
He was. It was a real big surprise in the tournament this year. I'm happy to see everyone doing well.
Defense, he changed his character at the last minute.
He did, and I think that came back to hurt him, though.
He was kicking himself for that.
Because I saw that at the very end.
Because I think he was, at first he was an operator, and the last second he went adept.
Was it adept or commando? I think he did.
It might have been commando. Yeah, it might have been commando. Be commando.
We'll consult the videos.
Yeah, go and consult the video. He was ahead, though, most of the time, until, what, Wave 6?
And so, what... And
it went back and forth.
I talked about Slot, is he didn't like that they were playing Remnant. No, they're playing Ket. And what's his name? The Destin's ability to cloak was throwing off his warp. So he might have just got more Destin overall.
I believe he said the lock-on wasn't doing the best because of the cloaking Destined. And that's what kind of screwed him over a bit.
So
but I believe he was
Commando
ahead.
Versus Vanguard, and then came Commando versus Commando.
That's right, so he made it a mirror match, basically. But no, that was a tough break for USA, a good victory for Cleveland. He moved on to the championship round. In our other one, we had the Battle of the Darks, the Dark Star versus Dark Side game, 3 versus 7 seed, with Dark Side being the 3 seed. It was 36,000 to 34,600, a 1.4 thousand point margin of victory for Dark Side. So thoughts on that one?
That was satisfying to watch.
That was a good one.
That was big.
It was.
Where I was actually kind of nervous coming into the end, because I mean, I know Dark runs away with the score, but wasn't the Dark Star was on top for a while near the end?
I think that took over in the 6th wave.
5th or 6th wave, yeah.
Because the Juggernaut, for me, I don't know why, but it has a steamroll, so it has to build up momentum. And then by 6 and 7, when the enemies are more dense, they're everywhere, and you can embed support or assist points into them, it really takes away. And the kineticist's reach is just unbelievable.
She's hard to beat the first couple rounds.
But later on, when the shields start showing up, you kind of lose that benefit. So you gotta get up early and then stay.
No, but it was still a good match, and that did set up our championship, where it was the 3 seed Darkside versus the 12 seed Cleveland, and it was a 37-1 to 31-2 victory for Darkside. 5.9 thousand points separated them. So any thoughts on that championship match? It was a pretty decisive victory.
I mean, Jeff will test it. Up my A game. I came ready with a. Even USA ran me through a couple of strategies.
No, but it was a good match.
At the where you died in like wave 1 a few times, like in the early waves.
Yeah, real early on, I was getting a little over aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, early on, after wave 1, Cleveland was in the lead.
Yeah, he had lead, I think, through 4.
I thought it was through wave 2, maybe, and then you started taking over.
Then Dark remembered his jug training and
how to steal. Significantly up. No, I didn't use the jug. I was using the.
No, I know. Yeah.
But yeah, it really turned around.
Didn't you find a couple nullifier spawns in waves 5 or 6 that really bumped up the assist points and the kill points?
Yeah, so playing, we got lucky with the fact that he was using a commando, which can only throw out so many singularities, and that's the only way it's going to get assist points. Where you can use your shockwave on the adept as well. So my whole goal there was to go after the nullifiers. The nullifiers are worth 330 points to kill, and you get 200 something assist points for every one you sink it. No, 150 assist points. So my goal was to shockwave every nullifier on the field and then group it, so he would have to deal with it. And that was just point strategy.
I'd say your strategy in that match definitely worked out, because by the end, I mean, you were almost at a 6,000 point advantage, and usually you want to beat around 3,000 points going into that final wave, so you definitely did your job and you secured that victory for your first win.
Between 6 and 7, because that score didn't that really come from wave 7?
It was definitely in those last 2 waves, because before that he had been ahead, or it had been kind of flip-flopping. But the real big breakaway was end of wave 6, coming into wave 7. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it was that final wave, really, though. You just kept the pressure on, and I think he maybe pulled back a bit, just trying to stay alive. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because you got the victory, and you have a win under your belt in the tournament.
Yeah, it was a good final match.
It was. So our end seeding... Oh, sorry, what was that?
I said it was well-deserved. And we practiced a lot, and he brought his A game to all his matches. So.
It was. But what's funny is that everybody wanted to face USA in the championship, but they got Cleveland instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Darkseid, you had something to say about that, right? It was kind of disappointing because we were all geared up to reach that point where one of us could, and then this new kid, and then this new kid came along and just.
We're like,
Darkseid wanted that Kingslayer title.
He remains the only person in the tournament so far to beat USA. So next year, we'll see what happens.
Then Apex will join that list.
Well, speaking about everybody's new ranking for next year, I'll go ahead and read off the end of your seeding. So 17 Buck, 16 Cinder, 15 Hitman, 14 Taeyun, 13 Megaton, 12 Infinite, 11 Will, 10 Jace, 9 Apex, 8 Short, 7 Dragon, 6 Linguist, 5 Jeff, 4 USA, 3 Darkstar, 2 Cleveland, and number 1 Darkseid, who is your champion this year. That's the tentative seeding for next year. That's without anybody else joining, of course. It could change. And there could be some changing due to some stuff we have to vote on later. So we will go ahead and move on to our next segment, which will be talking a little bit about the consolation bracket. Linguist...
Wait, I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
So does that mean I'm not in the preliminary round?
no.
Who is speaking here?
That's
Apex.
Is that Apex? I just want to make sure.
I couldn't hear you. What?
No, you will not be in the preliminary round next year. You are the 9th seed as of right now. That could change a little bit, but you're not probably going to deviate too much. You'll be right around middle of the pack, so you'll be facing someone right around that middle of the pack.
He's graduated.
So you'll have to beat a few opponents before you can get to USA and get your vengeance.
May I ask what's going on?
We are live streaming right now. It's the end of season Andromeda tournament live stream.
Wait, you're in a tourney?
No, we just had a tournament. Yeah, I hosted it.
Every year.
Ah, nice.
Yep, and this is the end of season live stream recapping everything. This is the first time we've done it.
How many people competed in it?
We had 17 people this past year, our largest one yet.
Bloody hell.
Yep.
Yeah, it starts shaping up around September or October-ish, somewhere in there. So if you're interested in playing, you can message Union when you get closer to that, so he can put you in the bracket. But yes, stick around and you'll get information about the tournament and maybe new stuff that might be happening next year.
What game's it on about?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Ah, okay. I might actually be able to get it, you know.
Oh, there you go. If you can get it, we'll be happy to have you next year for the tournament.
It's a solid game. It's still going strong.
Yep, we're helping it along. That'd be me, yes. The up 4884 person in the party who's talking right now. That is me. Just message me and I can get you in. Yep, no problem. I'll accept it here whenever we're done the live stream. Alright, so moving on to the consolation bracket side. Linguist, you hosted that one. It went really well. Tell me a little bit about it, and maybe we can go over some highlights real quick for that tournament.
Yeah, it actually went pretty smoothly compared to the informal one we did last year. I mean, that took forever. But yeah, it went pretty well. We changed a little bit of the seating around, specifically Apex, as we moved him up just like you did into the middle area. And yeah, it went nicely. And then we switched it up a bit. We started getting multiple recordings so you could see both the video feeds, which was kind of cool.
I really like that for the consolation bracket tournament. I think it's a nice change of perspective.
Yeah, and a side benefit, people have to watch the video twice to see the whole thing. I mean, that's just good stuff, right?
That'll work.
There you go.
So, Linguist, if you want, we can go over some important games from the consolation bracket real quick.
Sure. Let me...
Might want to pull a couple of them up.
Yeah,
I knew you probably didn't have it all in front of you, but any that stood out, we can go over a few at least.
Let me see.
Oh, wait, has the final match happened already?
Oh yeah, it's all over.
Everything's done.
So, Cleveland had already faced off with
Yeah, don't you remember the final match? They decided they wanted to do the daily Apex, which was One Life to Live, which was Union and I won that.
Pretty much. Well, let's go ahead and talk about that one, Linguist, since we brought it up, because that match was nuts.
Yeah, so since they were the only ones in that round, because it was the final, Dragon was interested in doing the daily Apex, and it was One Life to Live, Aqua Ket, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And Cleveland agreed, and we were like, okay, well, this will be an adventure, you know. And we were, I think we were both expecting that they were going to do fine, and we weren't really going to need to do much, because we weren't going to need to provide revives because they couldn't get up.
Yeah.
And then there were at least 3 or 4 waves, maybe more, where one of them dropped. And Cleveland, Dragon dropped first, so Cleveland had like at least 2 waves where he got almost all the enemies, and he was kind of like leading the score. And then he dropped, and Dragon came back a bit, and then neither one of them finished. They both died in that one. So,
and because we didn't have the rule where you were out of the tournament, and because it was also the championship match, obviously someone had to win. So the highest score just went ahead and won you the tournament. So whenever Cleveland was ahead and they both dropped, I mean, it was his game to win.
Yeah, so Extraction would have trumped score if Dragon had finished. He would have won despite having a lower score. But since they both didn't extract, then it goes back to whoever had the higher score. And I don't know if we'll maintain that.
So that video, yes, I saw, but I was under the impression that after that match, whoever won that will face off with
we were
side.
Supposed to be
never happened.
That wasn't part of the tournament. That was just going to be for kicks, you know. But since it was the same, it would have been the same final match again.
Yeah,
we were like, yeah.
With no
so
stakes,
basically,
so
Miss Congeniality is officially Cleveland.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, don't laugh, that was my title last year.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot to settle in the upcoming year, the next year's tournament.
The consolation bracket turns it into a double elimination tournament. If we just run it from the beginning as a double elimination, we would have got pretty much the same thing.
Yep. Which that's kind of interesting. It's good for seeding.
which I think is a strong contender for what next year's lineup should be. And I don't know.
Yeah,
if
and
we
we will
talked
get
about
into
it
that
yet,
too.
but it's combining the two.
And I will be talking about that a little bit later when we get into changes. But yeah, Linguist, anything else you want to talk about with that tournament? Any other games that stood out? I know the last one was a good one to start with, but any other ones?
The only other one I think was a big learning experience was the rematch on Darkstar. This year, and I decided to do fixed maps for the later matches, but random enemies, and that kind of
backfired for a little bit of strategy.
We got a map that the kineticist could kick ass on, and the random enemies gave the kineticist an enemy set that it could. So we went from what was it, a 9-point?
9 point to 9,000.
9,000.
Yeah. 9 points to 9,000. How do you go from that to that?
Yeah, I mean, and it was, and I mentioned it before. I think might have been with you that it was kind of a boring match for me to watch because I was behind Darkstar, and Darkstar stayed in the same position on the map the whole time.
You stayed in the power position though.
And when I say it was boring, I don't mean it wasn't good. It was very good. He did exactly what he needed to do, and like a machine. But sitting there behind him, just staring at the kineticist's butt, it's not very exciting,
No. Well, that's a different story there.
I beg to differ too.
But anybody else got any thoughts on those two games?
Jeff?
Oh, my game, my revenge match?
Yeah.
To be honest, I was already not defeated, but it was like, oh, okay, this is the kineticist like win, because like I noticed too when I was running around as an adept doing my singularity shockwave, he's just there in that one place, and he's just like, okay, from a distance pull and then throw or lance whatever, just like I was just like instead of just giving up, it's like, okay, let's just do a good fight and go through with it. But yeah, other than that, it's like, he got this.
Yeah, you did have the better feed to watch because it was much more action-packed.
Well, he won in the feed department then.
See? Silver lining.
Yeah. Alright, so any other games, Linguist, or are those the two that you kind of want to point out?
Give me a second, let me scroll back through that.
To me, what was exciting in that consolation bracket was my match against Megaton, whom I've never played against. It was on Paradox, and it was Remnant, so that was a chance. Yeah, especially like I've never used the Adept against Remnant, so that was actually very challenging and fun because he did put up a good fight, and so yeah.
Did you feel like you were in control of that one the whole time, Jeff?
What?
Versus Megaton, did you feel like you were in control of that one, or were you trying to push to make sure you had that score?
I was trying to push because at the same time I was like, I'm not used to using biotics against Remnant, so that was a challenge in itself for me that I was trying to prove to myself. So it's like, okay, so yeah, that was more challenging for me because and I don't know how Megaton's playstyle was, so that was another kind of like motivational for me to like, okay, let's try to do the best we can here.
The Apex versus Dragon match had a couple other firsts. So that was where we had our PSA in the middle because Dragon got stuck in the floor.
Oh, that's right.
And had to load out back in.
That elevator music.
Yeah, we had the please stand by thing in the middle of the video while he did all that, and then that was the one where the first time any of us had ever seen the score flip after the end of the match.
Yes.
Because at the end of the match, Apex had won, and he was doing a little victory dance because, he had beaten Dragon. That big feat right there. And then when we got to the actual score screen at the end, Dragon was on top. And it's got to be something related to the fact that he had to drop out in the middle. You know how the game kind of glitches when you leave and come back in?
And it did a final point calculation at the very end.
After the fact, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy things like that can happen. You got to wait until you see that final score after you're out of the game, so...
Yep.
I know it's hard
he
sometimes.
handled it like a champ. I was very proud.
Well, like I say, he's got next year, and next year he's going to be mid-pack, facing some other people with similar talent, so it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, if we get Galaxy Panda in, I mean, the young kids will run away with it.
Oh, yeah. They might be taking over here soon.
Right? It'll be time for us old guys to retire.
You're making me feel old. All right.
Okay.
Any other ones? This is some good ones so far.
Let me consult the list one more time. Nothing else that was really, really big like that, I don't think.
Everything else kind of went as planned.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move away from our game summaries, and we'll move on to some other things. For next year, for the main Andromeda tournament, there's a couple things that'll be staying the same. The first thing will be switching off the camera perspective, so I'm keeping that format for the main tournament. I like how we can get footage of each contestant. So that will be staying, and what will also be staying is the no variant weapons rule. I want to make sure that they are out of it, no matter if it's the first round of the championship. I feel like it makes players play a little bit more smart whenever they're running around the map. I know that 2-skill players can do a lot more with siphon weapons, but I think it adds a little bit more risk and reward with not having the variants.
I think it's fair too for the new players that are coming on, so they don't feel like they're being overpowered by those people who do have it. So
yeah,
that's fair.
Yep. But those are the only things that are really notable in terms of staying the same. Things that are changing for the AMT. So the top 4 seeds are guaranteed at least one bye round, and this will help make the earlier matches feel a little bit more fair, because no one really wants to see like a top 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed going up against maybe a lower seed who's just into the tournament first year and get wiped. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit better.
Yeah, that's solid. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Now we have seen though, I mean, as long as you win, you move on, and I think Cleveland kind of proved that.
Mm-hmm. Well, he got a bye from that first match too, so I mean that's.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. But like I say, he took down some tough opponents to get to the championship. And speaking about the championship, as well as the semifinals, so both semifinal championship matches, they are going to be next year the best 2 out of 3. And I think a lot of people will like this change, because if something goes wrong, it's not riding on the one game. You have a chance to make it up.
That'll be good.
Yeah, note it is only the semifinal and championship matches.
Now, what about for the best 2 out of 3? Can you use the same character for all the matches?
There's no limit on characters or weapon switching like that. It's just the best 2 out of 3. And there's a little bit more in terms of the map selection for these as well. So let me go ahead and read this out to you guys. So for the semifinal and championship matches, the first 2 maps and enemies will be selected by the contestants. The higher seed has the choice of the map or enemy, and the lower seed has the remaining choice. And then in the second round, that'll swap. And then the third match, we will already have a set map and enemy. So it gives the players a little bit more choice in terms of what they're doing. One player will select a map, the other will select an enemy.
Okay, so the higher seed gets to pick one of the 2, whichever
and
one.
And the other guy gets the remaining choice.
Yeah, all right.
It's a little bit more interesting. And then, like I say, if it does go into that last round, it's already set.
Mm-hmm.
So that's discussed there.
I like the idea of trying to work the daily apexes in, if we can get matches on the same day for the when we get towards the end. You know, if they happen to fall on the right map.
That might work as well.
The idea of it was interesting, even if the implementation didn't quite work out the way anybody really hoped that it would.
Yeah, and like I say, I think something like that will kind of be in agreement with our players if they want to do it on a map like that, or a mission, I should say. We'll leave that up to our players, but for right now, we'll try to keep it as in line with last year's tournament as possible. But other than that, another thing that'll be changing, or that could be changing, is that the Andromeda tournament consolation bracket can impact the end of season rankings. So in the future, I really want to have the consolation bracket sort of be part of the overall tournament where how well you do in both can affect overall rankings for next year's tournament. So we will have two. Well, honestly, we could probably just narrow this down to one vote. So should we go ahead and say that the ranking, or the results I should say, for the consolation bracket should affect the main tournament, and should we apply this starting next year?
For the seeding, you mean, correct?
Correct, for the seeding list. So should the outcome of the AMT consolation bracket affect seeding for the overall AMT in the following year? So we'll go ahead and do our first vote on this. I can't see the screen right now, so who wants to be my like tally keeper?
Are they gonna put their vote in the chat, or are they gonna?
We're gonna do it verbally, but I need someone that can actually look into the party screen because I don't want to leave my.
We have the party screen up on the TV. We're good. Go for it.
Okay, so Linguist, do you want to be my the vote tallier here?
Yeah.
To get the counts. All right, so you can call out people and you can call out me as well, and then we can give our votes if they want to see that rule in effect.
Oh, all right. Steal the TV from the lieutenant because he's running through the PlayStation menu right now.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just go down the list then?
Yeah, just go down the list.
All right. Are you voting?
I am voting as well, yes. You can ask me.
Okay. What's your vote, sir?
Well, we can start with me. Mine is a yes.
Yeah, and mine is also a yes.
Oh, wait, what are we doing?
Voting on whether or not the performance in the consolation bracket should impact your seeding for the main tournament.
I vote yes.
And I think the lieutenant votes yes also. 21? I don't know who that is. Should we just stick with people who were in the
stick with
tournament?
people stick with people you know and that have been in the tournament before.
Dark Side.
I'll say yes.
And Taeyun.
Yes.
And Jeff said yes. Richard, you weren't in this year, but you were in last year.
Si, senor.
All right. And Truck.
Yes.
Yep. And
All right.
Billy Bob. Yeah, that's everybody. All right.
All right, that's what I thought. So everybody said yes, so that does pass, obviously. So I will look at the rankings. I might change them around a little bit to affect it a little bit better, and then we'll be ready for next year's tournament. It'll be pretty fun. So the next one, So the next one is the dragon rule. So let me read this one out. In the event that both contestants do not extract, whether it be by the dragon rule is in the event that both contestants do not extract, whether it be by sabotage or coincidence, the match will be played again. So should that pass, yes or no? So whoever you want to say first, Linguist, will go ahead and vote on that.
Wasn't that we thought about something after you mentioned that the other day too? What was it?
I can't remember.
Something related to what if you tank the match? What if the match is going badly and you tank it on purpose and like something like that? How do we handle that in that situation? Where
that's if both do not extract.
Well, if you're
Right,
able to
there are ways to
sabotage it
mess
that
up.
effectively, then
Oh yeah, I think that's what we said,
counts.
Linguist. Then you kind of deserve it. Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah, then we're good.
All right.
All right, so let's see.
It's very hard to sabotage a game like that. So if you manage it, sure, you're in a rematch.
All right, so Union, I'm assuming you vote yes on that, and I think it's a good idea.
Yes.
So I vote yes.
Yes.
The lieutenant says yes. Dark Side.
Yeah, I agree.
Taeyun.
I'll vote no.
No. If both players don't extract, no rematch.
Correct.
All right.
Just go with the high score.
Oh, what about that? We didn't talk about that. That's a good idea. Jeff.
If both contestants don't they don't.
If nobody extracts, the match would be played again instead of like we did with Cleveland and Dragon, where we just went with who had the high score at the end.
Okay, so before I vote, wasn't there like a rule where
We're changing an old rule. You're no
okay.
longer both eliminated, because that wiped out half the bracket one year.
Yeah, because Silencio got knocked out.
Yeah, that wasn't a fair. I
Evil
think it.
grenades.
I think whoever had the most points in that round should move forward. Kind of like what happened with Cleveland and
Alright, so chalk that up
Dragon.
as... Yeah, Linguist, chalk it up as 2 votes for that alternate scenario, and then we'll see who has the majority after this.
Okay. Rich? Richard?
Oh, yeah. Sure. We'll go
Should
with
the
that.
match be replayed, or should it go by who had the high score?
Then
I just go replay.
Replay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Truck, what do you think?
No replay, just go by the high score. For me, anyway.
I'm gonna say high score.
High score.
And the lieutenant's actually waving, saying he wants to change his vote to high score, but I think we still have the majority going with the rematch. So let me see. 1, 2.
Yeah, go ahead and tally it up.
3.
Really?
Oh wait, no. So Taeyoon said no rematch. Jeff said no rematch. Truck and the lieutenant said no rematch. So we've got Rich, Darks. It's 4 and 4.
4 and 4. Alright, so what... Dragon's here, wait a minute. He's saying in the chat, we can use him. Dragon, you are a decider, oh god, of the dragon rule. Good, how did it come to this? How did it come to this? Are you kidding me?
Epic.
So Dragon, do we go by the high score, or do we replay the match again? Dragon wants the match to be replayed again, so he votes yes on it. So the Dragon rule passes because Dragon said yes.
He wants another chance to kill everybody.
How ironic. Good God. We just made his day. So, I guess that would pass then, Linguist?
Yes.
Alright, so that does pass. Don't worry, Jeff. I know that passed, but Icebreaker probably won't. Alright, let me get back into my notes here. Let me see. Oh, yeah, okay, here's another one. So, the Andromeda Madness Tournament Constellation Bracket will effectively operate as the determining factor of the second and third place in the overall AMT standings for next year. So that's basically saying that the second and third place would be cemented as well. So the top 3 seeds would be permanent. After the AMT Constellation Bracket has their championship match. So the first and second seed would both have wins going into next year, and the third seed would have 1 loss, at least.
Is that so the second place, third place from the Constellation Bracket, is assuming they match
that
up?
Decides. No, it would be the second, and you would have to win those. You'd have to win that one.
I see.
Because if you lose in the tournament somewhere, the regular AMT tournament, you go into the Constellation Bracket, and you have to win out on that one to get your second seed. Or get to the championship and lose that one and get your third seed. So it would basically just cement your top 3 seeds through both tournaments.
So finishing in the second or third place in the main tournament wouldn't necessarily guarantee you that position.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, that's good.
But it's mainly about cementing that place where if new people come in, they can't steal the top 3 spots. Because those people have been in 2 tournaments to get those spots. So that's what you're kind of voting on.
I think I understand what you're saying. So it sounds like it could be a good idea.
Yeah, it just cements the top 3 spots. So if somebody else comes in, like I'm not going to seed them as 2, which might deny everybody else those seeds whenever they've done 2 tournaments to earn it. The highest I could place them is 4.
So in the consolation match, somebody it's like their first time playing has upsets and makes it to the second or third position, but they're not gonna get that spot in the next year.
I'm talking about somebody new, like after the tournament's over and then we're getting ready to do the next one. If there's a player that comes in, it prevents me from putting them at the 2 seed which would rob other people from those higher seeds that they earn through 2 tournaments of gameplay.
Okay, yes, that should absolutely be.
I'm going to vote yes as well.
Wait. Did Dragon already vote for the Dragon rule, or he was?
Dragon wants a rematch.
But he's not in the party.
He's voting on screen.
Oh, okay. And then what are we voting for now?
That any new players that come in on a given year aren't going to be able to get into the second or third seed position.
Well, top 3 actually, due to the results.
Players from the previous year won X amount of matches and put in the work to get those seeds, so they can't be unseeded before the tournament has actually started.
Especially if they win the consolation bracket or make it to the consolation bracket championships, those top 3 seeds are cemented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yes.
Yes.
Lieutenant says yes. There you go.
I vote yes.
Dark side?
Concur.
And Tayu?
A little confused. How are the seeds determined?
They're determined by your performance but say like this year, like you had done like amazing and made it all the way to like runner up, like you were second place, and then you did the same thing in the consolation bracket, you were second place again. You are then guaranteed to be second place in next year's tournament. Even if somebody who's brand new but plays better comes into the tournament, they won't be able to get your seed spot. You're guaranteed to stay where you are.
Yeah, so any new players would be seeded after the lowest seeded player, basically?
After the second and third seed would be fixed, and then after that the seeds can fluctuate depending on new players that come in. But those top 3 spots, the first, second, and third, wouldn't be dislodged by anybody new coming into the mix.
Okay, which seeds have buys, guaranteed buys?
Top 4.
Then shouldn't it be top 4 then?
It's easier with the consolation brackets how it's set up, because the winner obviously will get a bye next year, and then if you lose, you go to the consolation bracket. So everybody from the main tournament except the winner goes consolation bracket, and the championship of consolation bracket will determine the second and third seed for the main tournament.
Because you couldn't do fourth because there's 2 matches.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have a really good player coming in, though, I can still put the really good player at the 4th seed. So it gives me a little bit of freedom, too.
Okay, I vote yes.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah, and Rich?
Yeah.
And Truck?
Yes.
There we go.
All right. One passes unanimously. That's good.
Now, let's talk about sponsorship. Pepsi?
We gotta go track that guy down that said that. That was ridiculous. Oh my god.
Or are we stuck with ring things? I don't know.
No. Well, we'll do both, actually. Alright. Next one up is a simple one. Co-host selections for next year. Basically, this is me just asking you guys, everyone that's co-hosted this past year, if you want to do it again. So, Truck, I'll start with you. If you are available and you can do it, would you like to do it again?
Sure.
Alright. Linguist?
Yep.
Alright. And Darkside?
Yep.
Okay, did I miss anybody? I think you guys were the main ones. Would anybody else like to volunteer to be a backup co-host?
I'll be a backup.
Oh, that's right, Jeff. You were doing a decent amount, too.
We had Jeff several times in the conversation.
That's right. Okay, so Jeff, yeah.
For the video purposes.
Yes. Okay, so you were definitely in there as well. Anybody else who is able to do that in case we need someone else?
Well,
actually, on second thought, I shouldn't be allowed, right?
Why not?
Why?
Oh, because he'd be watching other players.
That's someone that might.
Because you're the championship, yeah.
Okay, well, do you guys want to have a vote right now where the champion's not allowed to do it? But I honestly, I think that would get messy, though, given
well, just put him at the bottom of the list so he's not the first pick.
All right, fair enough.
Because you don't want to have to postpone a match because you can't find an Avenger when one's sitting right there.
You're right. So I think that'll be we don't have to vote on that then. Basically, I'll only contact them if I need somebody desperately.
Really, how much is he going to learn from just watching a match?
Yeah, whoever's in the second or third spot, maybe they should be just only slightly higher than Dark on the list for that same reason.
Yeah.
I don't know
But if
how
we
much it's
don't,
gonna be.
if we start doing that, though, it's going to be a nightmare to schedule games. And Dragon says,
Just
never be a
dark side
host.
of the box.
It's just
you
people
know,
that
if nobody
you
else is
win that
around, I
match,
did
you
have
might have
that
to play
guest
them.
appearance that one time.
Well, we could just make it for that, where like if you're that person's next opponent, you probably shouldn't be the Avenger in their match.
Yeah.
Like that.
Honestly, I think a thing like this, we kind of have to play by ear as we go along. Yeah. But alright, we'll get to that then, but I think we got our main people selected for hosting for next year. Alright. Now everybody's favorite part, we're going to do the map and enemy selection. So I actually need 6 rounds worth. We're going to start with the championship map. So anybody want to go first on maybe giving some opinions about what we should do for the championship?
I think it should be random.
No.
For the map?
Well, here I'm going to
random enemy.
I'm going to supersede this because it is my tournament here. I want a map and I want an enemy. I don't want to do random.
Okay.
Because that changes everything about your strategy.
The random
Yeah.
It stops being who's the better player playing their strategy and who gets lucky with the map and enemy type.
Yeah, we've
Fair
seen
enough.
that in the constellation bracket.
If you want random, then that should be the preliminary.
I still don't like it.
And
Yeah,
I don't like
mean,
having a mixture of different maps and enemy types in the same line, because if I watch Jeff play in the round of 16, I can then tell how he plays the same map, and I'm able to strategize off of that.
Okay.
So if we don't all do the same thing, it's not fair enough. I mean,
Well, with it being best out of 3, the random's not as necessary because the maps are going to be different. The enemies are going to be, or assuming they don't.
best out of 3 was only for the semifinals.
It's semifinal and championship, yes.
Right, but but Union was talking about for the finals. Isn't that what we were asking about?
Yeah, we're doing the final. We're doing the championship first, and then the semifinals.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what? For the best 2 out of 3, you can do one round can be each round can be a different enemy.
Well, like I say, for the championship, I will need only one map because you got to remember the championship semifinals. The players have choice as well in terms of their maps and enemies.
Right. The first 2 matches, the players pick the map and the enemy.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Each player picking one part of it.
So I need the tiebreaker, basically, is what I'm asking for.
Got it.
Nimbus, because that map is evil.
I mean, I think it's time Sandstorm got its due.
All right, I hear a Nimbus and a Sandstorm. Anybody else want to nominate a map?
Vertigo.
Okay, we'll stop at 3. Nimbus, Vertigo, Sandstorm.
Vertigo?
Anybody else want to second one of them? I'm going to second Sandstorm for the championship.
Sandstorm.
The lieutenant says derelict.
Alright, so far I'm hearing multiple, 3 Sandstorms so far.
Yeah,
I
Sandstorm.
know he said derelict, but...
I'll put 1 in for Vertigo.
Okay, so there's 3 for Sandstorm, 2 for Vertigo. It looks like those are going to be our main 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and have an official vote between, Sandstorm and Vertigo? Linguist, if you want to start it.
Okay, who votes for Sandstorm for the final match? Union?
I do, Sandstorm.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Lieutenant?
I just got back. Everything's quiet. Did somebody ask me a question?
Yeah, Lieutenant says Sandstorm is good. Also, we're voting on whether Sandstorm should be the fixed final map for the
Or Vertigo. Sandstorm or Vertigo.
Sandstorm.
Okay, Dark Side?
I nominated it, but I still say Sandstorm.
There we go. Jeff?
I vote Sandstorm.
Excellent. Well, that's already the majority. Do we need to keep going?
We're good then, for the majority.
What about our viewers on the YouTube chat?
I think it's Dragon and maybe one other person. And Dragon voted for Nimbus, so he's not even in the ballpark. Alright, it looks like it is going to be Sandstorm. Now we need an enemy. So basically, we're just going to, Linguist, just ask everyone, and they'll just give you one of the enemies, and then we'll see who's the majority there.
Union, what's your enemy?
I'm gonna go with Outlaw.
Yeah. I was gonna say Cat. Alright, Outlaw and Cat. What should the enemy be?
Cat.
We got 2 for Cat, 3 for Cat. Dark
Dark
Side.
side cat.
Cat. Richard. Oh, Taeyoon,
Cat.
sorry. Oh, that's the majority right there. Cat.
Alright, so we're doing Ket. Sandstorm Ket is the championship.
It's going to be a kineticist v kineticist match.
Probably. We'll see if you're right. But alright, so we'll go down to the semifinals. Once again, we only need 1 map here. Actually, we only need 1 map for all of them, because any other round's going to be 1.
Shouldn't that one be Vertigo, since it was one of the 2 we were just voting on?
We can. So semifinals, if you guys want to make that Vertigo. Does anybody else have anything else they want to do? Because I'd be fine with Vertigo.
I think the silence says it.
I think we're doing Vertigo then. I don't see anybody else chiming in, so it looks like Vertigo. So now you need to do enemies.
Alright, what are you thinking?
I'm going to go Outlaw again.
Is this for the semifinals?
Yeah, I vote Outlaw.
Yeah, I agree, Outlaw.
I'm good with Outlaw.
Outlaw.
Oh, Lieutenant says Outlaw.
Dragon's Outlaw.
Outlaw.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
that's
Outlaw.
majority right there.
Alright, so we're good. Alright, so we got Vertigo Outlaw for the semifinal. Alright, round of 8 game. What do you guys think?
Is round of 8 still best 2 out of 3?
No. No, these are the singles.
Okay.
So choose wisely here. I'm gonna say 0. I'm gonna nominate 0.
I was gonna say Derelict or 0, a smaller map, since there's gonna be more matches
Yeah.
to get through.
Dragon said Icebreaker.
I'll second Icebreaker.
Oh my god.
How about Paradox?
We got Icebreaker, Paradox, and 0. We got 2 for Icebreaker so far. Anybody else want to chime in?
I'll change my vote to Paradox.
So 1 Icebreaker, 2 Paradox, and 0, and the Lieutenant is looking at the...
We got 2 Icebreaker, yeah.
I vote Icebreaker.
Lieutenant says Nimbus.
I thought we were taking Nimbus out of the equation.
Did we use Nimbus in one of the other ones?
We did not yet.
We used Vertigo and things.
So it looks like we got 2 for Icebreaker and 2 for 0 so far. And what else?
Dark Side and Taeyoon, what do you? Those are the leading ones.
0.
3 for 0.
Zeros. Is that 3 for 0?
I think it's 3.
Taeyoon?
Yeah, 0 is fine.
Oh, I think that's gonna do it right there. Chuck, what do you think?
0.
Alright, I think we got the majority, yep. Alright, now I need the enemy, so just start asking people their linguist.
Remnant.
I was just gonna say Remnant, because we've already got the other 2.
Yeah, I want Remnant.
Dark Side?
Yeah, concur. Remnant.
Jeff and Taeyoon?
Yeah, Remnant's fine.
There we go.
Wow, we all agreed on one? Dang.
So is it 0 or
it's 0 Remnant.
0
okay.
Remnant.
Yeah, 0 Remnant.
We'll go over it when we're done here. Alright, so now we're into the round of 16.
I think Paradox could work for that.
I'll second that.
Paradox, yeah, that's a good map.
Paradox, yes.
I think that's already there. Dark and Taeyoon, what are you thinking?
Yeah, sure, Paradox. That's fine.
That'll do it. Lieutenant says Paradox too.
Alright. And now we need the enemy. I'm gonna say Remnant again.
I was gonna say it's the beginning. We could do random on that one. Because they tend to be a large
Yeah,
score.
but I'm going to pull the strings here and say I don't want any randoms in the AMT.
Lieutenant says Outlaw.
Cat.
One for Outlaw, one for Cat. What are you thinking?
Well, I was saying Remnant, so we got 1 apiece.
Okay.
Honestly, I think in Cat you have more options. Remnant, I think, kind of limits options, and I'm not sure you want that in the preliminary.
Dark and Taeyoon?
Remnant.
Remnant, okay.
Yeah, Remnant, I concur.
I can go with Remnant too. Jeff, did you vote?
I said cat though. But,
Truck?
Cat.
I think we're tied with Remnant and Cat.
Alright, so what's the losing one? Throw it out, we'll vote again.
What does Dragon say? No, what does Dragon vote?
Dragon, are you still here? Vote on an enemy.
Remnant or Cat? Decide.
Yeah, Remnant or Cat. You're the deciding factor. He's gonna say frickin' Outlaw to throw us for a loop.
I was gonna say Banshees.
Question mark.
I wanted to choose Outlaw.
Did he? I don't have the chat up on the screen. Did he vote?
He said in Cat. He said Cat. So is it Cat then?
There we go.
Okay, it's Cat.
Yes.
Oh,
Alright.
the lieutenant's pointing out the symmetry. It's the first round and the last round.
Yeah. Alright, so now we get into the preliminary round 2. Like I say, I'm going backwards here. So these are rounds to just kind of thin down the field to that round of 16. So not a lot of people will be participating in preliminary 1 and preliminary 2. But this is the second preliminary that we're going to be deciding for now.
Well, we already got 0, so I would say Derelict for that one.
I'll say Derelict as well.
Lieutenant's checking. Darkside, what do you think?
Sandstorm.
We've got Sandstorm in another spot, though.
Magma.
In the finals.
Lieutenant says Magma. What did you say, Dark? I'm sorry?
In the finals is an option. Or we can go with, what's the other one we're not using? Icebreaker.
Aaron, what do you think?
Magma.
Magma?
Magma should be fine.
That's 3 for Magma. Rich, you said Aqua?
Yeah.
Truck, what do you think?
I apologize, I was a little lost.
What map do you want for the second preliminary round?
Oh, this is going to be a toughie. What's the consensus so far?
Magma's in the lead. We've got 2 for Derelict, 1 for Icebreaker.
The meat shanks.
Magma's probably good. Yes. I would say.
That'll do it.
Magma wins, alright. Alright, now we need the enemy.
Cat.
I was going to say Outlaw because that tends to be an easy one to start with.
Yeah.
Lieutenant says Outlaw. Jeff says Outlaw.
You gotta remember, this is the second preliminary round.
Yeah, like the bottom of the barrel preliminary round?
Second to the bottom.
Oh, second to the bottom.
Yeah, we're going backwards.
Oh, there's a third one now?
No, here's the order. Preliminary 1, Preliminary 2, Round of 16, Round of 8, Semifinals, Championship. We just went backwards because that's how I had it listed.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's not the first round?
No.
I'll stick with Outlaw, that's fine.
I'm gonna say Ket again.
Alright, Darkside and Teo?
Cat.
Teo says Cat. Darkside?
Cat's fine.
Oh, so Cat is on top again. Rich, what did you say?
Outlaw.
Truck?
Outlaw.
Oh, that's a tie between Outlaw and Cat. What does Dragon say?
Dragon, it's up to you. Do you want Outlaw? I think he sent something, but I'm not sure if that's a password or not. Dragon, send it again if you're still here. Do you want Ket or Outlaw?
Oh, the Lieutenant's pointing out that if this is right before the round of 16, it would be Ket and Ket.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
You can do that. He said Outlaw.
So that makes that one Outlaw then, yeah?
Yep. Alright.
We only have Remnant in one spot, right? So
that's correct. And well,
very first round should be Remnant then?
Well, we'll get there. We need to do the map first. I'm going to say Icebreaker. Preliminary round 1.
God.
You're not going to be in it, Jeff.
Icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
Alright, Darkside and Teo.
Aqua.
2 for Aqua, 3 for Icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
4 for Icebreaker.
You brat.
Yeah, Icebreaker's fine.
I vote for Aqua.
3 for Aqua. Rich, what did you said Aqua? Chuck?
Aqua.
Aqua.
Oh, 4 for Aqua. What does Dragon say?
Dragon says Icebreaker.
Oh,
Or the
then that's
Remnant Vault.
So it's Icebreaker?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes,
Icebreaker wins.
I knew I'd get in there eventually. And for the enemy, I want to start off with probably Remnant. I'm gonna say Remnant.
I think it should be Remnant. And Lieutenant says Remnant.
Great.
Concur.
Darkseid says Remnant. Tayo?
I'm sorry. Let's see. I guess Outlaw.
Outlaw, Rich, and Chuck.
Yeah, Remnant's fine.
Remnant wins.
Yeah,
with that.
Remnant.
It's gonna be a hard preliminary round starting off. It'll be fine.
It's gonna be fun to watch the newer players.
Oh, I know. I know. It'll be good. That'll be good. So that sums it up. Let me go ahead and read this back to you guys. So Preliminary 1, Icebreaker Remnant. Preliminary 2, Magma Outlaw. Round of 16, Paradox Ket. Round of 8, Zero Remnant. Semifinals, Vertigo Outlaw. Championship, Sandstorm Ket.
And those preliminary ones, those aren't guaranteed to actually happen. That depends on how many players there are, right?
Correct. And if I need... Honestly, there might be a few in each just to narrow it down to that 16 that I need. Now, fair warning, the way I maneuvered around, more of you might be participating in them than you would think. So I'm thinking now that Icebreaker might come back to bite you in the rear, but it'll be fine. It's the first round. The higher seeds won't have to worry.
I did well on Icebreaker, I think, did I? We're good.
Nah, it'll be fine. Like I say, it's only one, and not everybody's going to be doing it, and top 4 seeds are guaranteed not to do it.
Lucky.
But alright, so at this point, are there any other matters that you guys want to discuss about the Andromeda Madness tournament?
I appreciate you doing this, man.
Hey, that's no problem. There's a little bit left to go as well here. We're almost through my whole list. But, yeah, if there's anything else you want to say about it, now would be the time. I'm just happy to do it for you all and bring it all together.
Something that comes to mind, maybe with brand new players or people that haven't been there in a while, like, before we start the tournament, we could get some practice matches in, maybe help determine seeding.
I think we do that, because...
Yeah, we do that already.
Yeah.
But maybe we could communicate a little bit better and put it in the actual chat that everybody's in, that we're doing pickup matches and essentially a preseason.
Yep, and that's what that was actually another thing I was going to ask.
An official preseason.
All right, and that was going to be another point I was going to bring up here at the end. So this is what I was thinking for that. If you guys want to have a preseason, it would not be recorded on YouTube or anything by me. If you want to do it yourselves and put it on YouTube, that's fine. All I would request is just the results of the match. Just send them to me so I can consider that when I'm doing the seeding for the main tournament. And that way I can get the records together as well, like how many wins and losses you guys have, and that'll also help with seeding to get more accurate data.
That'd be like a great way of determining, like, maybe the bottom 12.
We might organize it because we all practice already anyway. It might be a good idea to get new players in to say, okay, let's get a few practice matches in with you so we can see what you're bringing to the table, that type of thing. Yeah. So for most of us, we're already going to practice anyway, so it would only really be necessary for the people that we don't know. And I think that's why Rich brought it up in the first place. So that works well.
No, that'll be good. I'm happy you brought that up, because honestly, I think I skipped that in my plethora of notes here, so I'm glad we got to cover it quickly. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Let's see. Do we have any other ways of, like, spreading the word out to reach a much more broader, like, participants in the upcoming?
We have to play the game and meet people. That's the only thing. I know we have a tight-knit community here, and a lot of us don't like to get out of parties, but if we want to expand our horizon, we're going to need to get out of parties into game chat and start gaming with some other people.
Okay. So just invite them over to the Habitat 7 party chat.
Well, you might want to go into
mention that
game.
casually. Or...
You might want to game with them a few times first, just to see how they are, because we don't want to invite someone right away and find out they're not really gonna mesh with the rest of the group. Like I said, we've got a lot of people. I know we have more people that want to join next year, and if we get too many people, I'm going to have to put a cap on the tournament. I was thinking probably 32 would be my maximum.
Wow.
Because at that point, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, we'll definitely look up for new people.
Probably won't have to worry about that, but if there is, we'll have, like, play-ins, I guess.
Well, you could determine a preseason with the best people there. I mean, the people who weren't winning anything, they wouldn't even get in, but then your records would go into effect and not get you a seeding in the tournament. So the preseason would really come into effect then. Alright. Anything else?
I like to see Platinum something. Figure out how that would work.
Maybe in the future, maybe even in a different tournament, but I think moving forward, at least for next year, we're probably just going to keep it on gold for now.
Could do platinum for the very final match, allowing variant weapons for that one.
We could. I'm just a little worried about it in terms of how the game would flow, because it could really get bogged down still.
Well, that could be. Well, that could be. Oh, I got an echo now.
Yeah, someone's echoing. I think we're okay now.
Maybe something for the final four. We could
maybe.
Slip up something for that.
Well, we'll kind of play that one by ear. And I'm getting an echo again. Maybe. Alright, hope the echo's gone. It is not. Shoot. Linguist, can you check chat? See if the echoes come from.
Like the lieutenant would stop next to stuff. Hold on.
Yeah, it's lieutenant. It's reverberating. Keeps reverberating.
I'm not seeing activity.
Alright. I'm still hearing it.
Yeah, it's Apex training on PS4.
Is that it?
Alright.
But he's been on the whole time.
I can still hear it.
I'm telling you, when I mute him, it goes away.
Wait a minute. Now it's okay. Alright, we're good now. Linguist, was that your mic?
I don't think so.
Let me see. Okay, it went away now, so whoever muted their mic, I appreciate that.
I had him check his, so he might have unmuted and then muted again.
I think it was Richard.
Might have been Richard, okay. Well, everything's good now, so we can go ahead and continue.
Okay, anyways.
Yeah, we're fine. But anyways, anything else we got to talk about for the AMT?
Don't think so.
Alright, so...
We have to discuss the how we're going to work the pregame into it, but we don't have to do that here.
No, we'll get that done later, whenever it gets closer, and honestly, that'll be mainly just you guys talking, getting together, and getting that stuff done, and sending the results to me, so we'll get it together. But alright, for our last thing here, we have a little award ceremony. So we'll go ahead and do this by majority rule, as we've been doing everything else in terms of voting. The first thing up is the most improved player. So anybody got a person they'd like to nominate for it?
Apex training.
Yep.
Apex. Anybody else? I'm gonna say Apex as well.
The only one I can think of is like Cleveland seemed to come out of nowhere, but maybe that's just me.
Oh, there's another one that'll be perfect for him in a minute.
No, I think Apex wins that one.
Yeah. Anybody else voting?
Taeyun wasn't here last year, so he might not have seen...
What's that?
The most improved player.
Oh, I've been around since the beginning, but I haven't been playing much lately.
No, but I mean, you didn't play in the tournament last year, so you might not have seen Apex's performance last year versus his performance this year.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, this was my first time playing the tournament.
Dragon votes for himself. Alright, I think Apex might have it here, though. I think he gets the award. He's definitely improved. Anybody else want to say it, or? Apex. Dragon says Apex was second.
That's as good as voting for him anyway.
Pretty much. Alright, I think Apex takes it, so he wins most improved. Next one up here. Biggest surprise of the tournament. Now, let me say the next two. Wait a minute, let me say the next two, though. We have biggest surprise, and then we have best match. So let's have biggest surprise first.
That's Cleveland.
That's Cleveland.
I'm saying Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lieutenant says Cleveland also.
I think everybody might be in agreement on that one. If you go specifically, I think it was Cleveland's victory over USA. Oh, like I say,
Cleveland versus USA, yeah.
Yeah. But just Cleveland overall, I think his run to the championship. It was good. But alright, and here's another one I think we're all going to agree on. Best match.
That's Jeff and Darkstar.
Yeah, I second that.
Yep.
Same here. Even I surprised myself. It's like, wow. So, yeah.
I think it was our best game we've ever had in any of the tournaments over the past 4 years. It was a fantastic game. So yeah, Jeff versus Darkstar. That was one for the books. Alright, and there's one more award. This is not a voting one. I've already decided this one. This is the Unsung Hero Award. It goes to an individual or individuals who have shown incredible sportsmanship, enthusiasm for the tournament, and have helped contribute to the ANT. And this year, it goes to everyone who filled in as a co-host. So thank you all that filled in. It was appreciated.
I thought it was going to be Anthony Hitman.
No, it's basically to you guys that kept the tournament running when we needed a co-host just to get those games done. So I really appreciate it. Alright. Now, we are officially at the end of my list here, so last chance, is there anything else you would like to say during the live stream? And Linguist says you should get that award for Unsung Hero, and yes, Linguist, you do get a piece of that award.
What? I didn't say anything.
Dragon said you should also get that award for Unsung Hero, which you do because you were also a co-host.
I'll second that.
He already has it. It's everybody who filled in, which I appreciate. But yeah,
not a problem. We were all happy to do it.
I appreciate it, and like
October.
hopefully next year we're able to do it again. Anything else you guys want to say?
You're thinking preliminary start in October?
Yeah, we can talk about scheduling here. Preliminaries will probably start, yeah, right as October probably rolls around if you guys want to get going. Then probably in November we'll start the main tournament.
Yeah, that should be good.
Isn't that's essentially what we did this year? We started signing up in October, and then the
Yeah.
matches started.
Yeah.
Because you get a month.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be fine. It's the same as last year's. That
Yeah.
way, people have enough time to decide whether they'll join or not, and then start at November 1st.
Yeah. And like I say, that month time span allows people to decide if they really want to do it or not.
Test out some characters.
Oh yeah, and then like I say, get into the preseason and try to get some wins under your belt, see how the tournament goes, and then jump in feeling pretty good whenever you get into your first real match. It'll be fun. Next year I think is going to be a really big tournament.
Yeah, I've met several players in the last, I would say, month and a half that could definitely perform well. So, yeah, it should be good.
Oh, it's going to be fun. But alright guys, last call. Anything else you want to say?
Keela Salai.
Keela Salai. By the homeworld I wish to see one day, I believe.
Yeah.
As Tally said. But alright guys, that will conclude our live stream. Oh wait, Dragon's saying something. Dragon said he's not going to be a part of it, he's not the 12th or 11th seed. Dragon, we will see where you fall next year. Alright. We'll get you seated. But alright guys, like I said, we've been going for almost an hour and 40 minutes. So pretty good live stream. I think we talked about a lot. It's been fun. Yeah. It was a great one here. Great live stream. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it. So we can all sign out, and I guess we'll see you for the tournament in 2023.
See you next time.